What is Jakarta Data? In this video, I explain and give you an overview of the API. Jakarta Data is a specification from Jakarta EE or Java Enterprise World, where the goal is to make easier database access. It doesn't matter if we are talking about relational database or NoSQL database. The goal is to have common painfuls and make the communication around database super straightforward. For example, in Jakarta Data, we have two types of paginations. So we have the cursor and offset pagination that you can handle easily with a single line. Jakarta Data allows us to create a communication using a single interface. Using this single interface, you are able to communicate. It doesn't matter the source. Right now, it's super transparent for you. It's gonna be defined by the annotation that you're gonna put in the entity. So you can use Jakarta persistency to relational database or Jakarta NoSQL to NoSQL database. Naturally, you can see several similarities between Jakarta Data and Spring Data. The reason is we got a super and strong inspiration by Spring Data. For example, the idea of using interface repository to make that communication between database and the Java entities or the Java classes. It was super inspired by Spring. However, we went beyond. For example, there are several capabilities that Spring Data doesn't have and we do. For example, we have two types of paginations. The offset, let's say, is the most popular one. However, if you have a huge amount of data, you might face performance issues. There is the cursor pagination that works like a pointer. That is more efficient, especially when we handle with a huge amount of data. So the cursor is the one that only Jakarta Data provides. Furthermore, we have two types of repository. The top pin repository that's pretty similar to Spring Data. So we have our interface like car repository or garage. That is an interface and then extends some repository from the specification, such as CRUD repository or basic repository. But you have the option to create those from scratch. So for example, you can create a single interface if you don't extend any interface and create your operation based on that. Furthermore, we have annotations operations. So we have insert, update, delete, and find annotation that will work as execution items or execution methods. The idea is to explore more the ubiquitous language or a common terminology inside the organization. So for example, in this case, my car repository or my garage can have a park method and the annotation save will define this operation. We also have integration with a common query that is right now become Jakarta query specification that has two layers. One, let's say it's a common ground, a common language that will work on Jakarta Data and NoSQL database. And we have an extension that is Jakarta Persistence Query Language that we work as well with relational database. Naturally, the common one won't have joins. In the Jakarta Persistence Query Language, you can have access to joins, for example. Going furthermore, we also have new features and capabilities that will come in Jakarta EE 12 or Jakarta Data 1.1. For example, right now we have idea to have dynamic queries. So we have these restrictions and you can have several ways to handle dynamically the query. Imagine that you have a REST application that has a couple of filters and based on the one that is activated or fill up or not, you can include restrictions on that query. And you can achieve that using the enhancement inside the Jakarta Data method model that allows us to do query using and exploring Fluent API. That's it for today. The goal was to explore more around Jakarta Data and the different capabilities that we can go, including comparing with Spring Data, and hopefully got the idea. And if you want to enhance your career, don't forget to subscribe in this channel.